Hello from Myrtle Beach. I'm here on this lovely fall day. I'm going to take you on a walk on the south end. So this is the Crown Reef Resort right here. We're going to walk from here and walk northbound towards the Central Boardwalk area. Hi, I'm Carmen, and if you're new here, we cover everything Myrtle Beach and the surrounding area. And if you're a return viewer, welcome back. So glad to have you. So here at the Crown Reef, they're actually still cleaning up from Ian. They are putting their dunes back together. Which is a smart thing to protect their property, and so it's good to see that going on. I just walked by on the street side of the coral reef, and it looks like their fountains out front took some damage from the storm, and it looks like the lower levels of their parking decks had some water damage as well. Any of these resorts you're coming to stay at, double check with them and make sure everything's good before you come. I think most are in fine shape, but some did sustain damage. And so it's definitely worth calling ahead to make sure. But like I said, it's good to see them doing this. This is what you want, is to get the dunes back in place to protect the property. So do you have a trip coming up to Myrtle Beach or the surrounding area? Let us know in the comments. And if you have a resort that you're staying at that you love, let us know that as well. It helps other viewers know where to stay. So you can tell it's gorgeous today. We are having some cooler weather. I actually have shorts and short sleeves on right now, but this is the peak heat of the day right now, and I'm still a little on the cool side. Like if I wasn't walking and I was sitting still, I would be cool. It's in the mid 60s right now, which is not bad, but in the mornings it's going to be in the 40s for a couple of days. It's not going to last. You always check the weather before you come, but when you pack for this time of the year, you want to pack a variety of clothes. You want some, you may even have to change clothes midday because, for example, this morning I had long pants on and a long sleeve shirt because it was chilly. And now I'm in shorts and a sleeveless shirt. So bring a variety of clothes for any time you're here on a shoulder month. That goes for both the fall and the spring, and honestly, even the winter. You're probably not going to wear a sleeveless shirt in the winter, but you might wear a t-shirt and jeans, and you might not need a long sleeve shirt. Like even in the winter, we can have weather in the 70s sometimes for the highs. So definitely pack with all of that in mind. And if you want more details on any of the seasons here at Myrtle Beach, we have a playlist in the description below, and we go into detail about each individual season, how to pack for it, what to expect when you're here, what festivals are going on that time of the year, all the good stuff that you need to know before you come visit that will help you plan your Myrtle Beach vacation. So as we get a little further up here where there's more hotels, you're going to see more and more people. We are at high tide right now. We're very close to it. So that's why the beach may not look as big as what you would normally picture. It's because we are at high tide. There are quite a few shells washed up today. I haven't seen anything remarkable yet, but there are some good shells up today. I have noticed in the fall compared to the spring, there's been a lot more shells washed up on the beach. I don't know if it's that way every single year. I haven't really noticed in previous years, but I have noticed that this year. A lot more shells. Got some pigeons here enjoying the beach. See a lot of pigeons, a lot of seagulls, and of course pelicans. Sometimes an egret. Those are usually out more in the early morning. I see those when I'm walking earlier in the day. Also, you're more likely to see an egret if you're away from as many people. So for example, like one of the state parks, somewhere a little more natural, a little less congested, you're more likely to see an egret, but they're everywhere. They really are. I feel like I'm chasing these pigeons. They just keep walking ahead of me. If you're enjoying this video, be sure to give it a like. We appreciate that. And let us know in the comments where you'd like us to see do a beach walk the next time. Trying to mix up where we do these. I know we get a lot of requests from people, and especially since Ian, we've had a lot of requests to go and check out certain areas. For the most part though, with the exception of Garden City and Cherry Grove that were hit pretty hard, it's going to look about the same from the beach side. To see details, like to find out if your resort was specifically affected, you really would have to go to that resort, and so that's why I recommend calling ahead to see, what their situation is. Most of them I would think would be almost like the coral reef, where yes, they have some issues, but it's not really going to affect your stay, especially this time of the year, because I know a lot of pools were affected. Like the pools got filled with sand from the storm surge, that kind of thing. But this, you know, the indoor pools should be unaffected because they're indoors, and the outdoor pools were past the season for that, so it should be fine. Feels great out here though, it really does. And I'm keeping a pretty quick pace so I can stay warm, since I'm dressed a little less warm. And this Residence Inn here, it's right here, the building with the blue trim. We have stayed there, I believe 3 times now, at least twice in the last year or so when we were in the process of moving. And it's a great resort. We definitely recommend it. It's also a pricey resort, but you get what you pay for. We really enjoyed staying there. It was really nice, and we definitely recommend it. Coming up a little further, there's also a Hampton Inn and Suites. We have not stayed there in many years. However, we did enjoy it when we stayed there, so that's another option that we can recommend. And I know some of you have said that you have stayed there recently and that it's still nice. That's one of our tips, and it doesn't mean don't stay at the other places. There are great places that are not part of a major chain. But if you are coming from out of town and you are not familiar with the area, it's always a good idea to check TripAdvisor for reviews. And we personally, this is just what we do personally. Oh look, part of a nice whelk shell there. Didn't make it in one piece. But what we personally recommend doing is sticking with major brands. You get some consistency with that. You may not get the uniqueness that you would get from a one-off hotel, but if you stick with the Marriott or the Hilton property, for example, and no, we're not sponsored by any of these, it's just our personal preference, you're going to get a standard, typically of quality. Doesn't mean they're all great. We've stayed at some that aren't, but you're going to have better luck, I think. Another tip we have, even though hurricane season is winding down, it's not over yet. Always check the cancellation policy in the event of a hurricane. We got burned when we were young, a long time ago, with a hotel here. That hotel is no longer in business, so you don't need to worry about it. But with a hotel here who, even though there was a mandatory evacuation for a hurricane, they would not refund our money. And it was in the fine print that they would not do that. So check all that fine print that no one ever reads, and make sure that they have a reasonable policy. Most hotels will give you a future credit towards a future stay, and I think we would have been totally fine with that, but that they didn't have any option like that. So definitely keep that in mind. I mean, who knows, maybe that's why they're not in business anymore, because we certainly would never go back there, you know, after that happened. Not good customer service. So we just want to protect you from things that have happened to us in the past, things to look out for. So you see a good amount of people are out here, even though we're technically in the off season. And this is in sort of the, I'd say, late afternoon. So just to give you a time frame, people always ask what time of day this is filmed. So this is late afternoon. So you can see what, you know, this is one of the busier areas with all the hotels, what it looks like in the off season. So it gives you an idea. I think technically Myrtle Beach says their off season starts after October 31st, and that's when they stop charging for parking at most of the public parking spaces. But it really slows down quite a bit after Labor Day weekend. And this is actually our favorite time of the year. We actually have a video, you can search for it on our channel, why fall is the best time of the year to visit here. It's just great. The weather's great. Crowds are relatively low. I mean, there's still a good amount of people here, and most things are still open. Most things here do not close for the season, the off season. The exception is the Family Kingdom amusement park. I'm sure there's others, and a few things shut down for January and February, but most things are open year round here, especially the major attractions that you think of, like the Skywheel, Broadway at the Beach. I mean, at Broadway at the Beach, there might be a show or two that take a break during the off season, but everything else at Broadway will be open. Barefoot Landing, that will be open. The Tanger outlets will be open. The attractions on the boardwalk will be open. I'm not saying every single one of them is, but most of them will be. Don't see many people up on the balconies, a few. It's a good time to sit out on the balcony. Probably up high you'd need a jacket or a long sleeve shirt though with the wind. The wind really makes a difference, but I mean you can see here some people are swimming. So it is doable. I'm not saying I would do it. But those of you from a more northern locale might find it just fine weather for a swim. Me, mid-60s, no, definitely not. It feels great walking out here, but being wet, no, I would not want to be with this cool ocean breeze. I'm a warm weather lover. That's part of the reason we moved here, one of the many reasons that we moved here. Warmer weather, it's great weather. Those of you who are new and may not know, we had a second home here for about 20 years, and we recently, a few months ago, moved here permanently, and we have no regrets. We love it. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to click on the video on your screen right now and click subscribe so you won't miss anything new. Thanks so much for watching. Until our next adventure.